Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving into a true story that honestly sounds exactly like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi thriller. We're looking at the exact moment human conflict changed forever. The moment that totally redefined what a weapon can actually be, pushing us right off the physical battlefield and straight into the server room. The implications of what we're about to uncover absolutely altered the modern world.
So can computer code actually destroy a factory? I mean, it feels totally counterintuitive, right? We usually think of malware as, a digital nuisance, something that steals your credit card info, maybe encrypts a hard drive for Bitcoin, or crashes a website. But I want you to completely shift your perspective for a second. Think about whether invisible ones and zeros could literally reach out of your screen, bypass intense physical security, and just tear apart heavy industrial machinery from the inside out.
Part 1. The first digital weapon, crossing the digital to physical divide.
To really ground ourselves here, we have to define what a cyber weapon actually is, because this distinction is super important. We're not talking about cyber espionage or stealing state secrets here. A true cyber weapon is malware explicitly engineered to cross that boundary into the real physical world and cause tangible, violent destruction. The software that actually pulled this off? It's called Stuxnet, and experts universally agree it was the very first weapon of its kind to shatter that digital to physical barrier. It wasn't just code, it was literally a digital missile.
And the sheer magnitude of the target is what makes Stuxnet so mind-blowing. This wasn't some digital prank, right? It wasn't a random hit on a bank. This was a highly sophisticated, covert mission to physically sabotage incredibly secure, heavily guarded nuclear development equipment. And get this, these systems were buried deep underground and famously air-gapped. That means they weren't even physically connected to the outside internet. So breaching an air-gapped system, that requires a level of precision and planning that is just off the charts.
Moving on to Part 2, centrifuges explain simply the nuclear spin cycle.
I actually really love this comparison because it demystifies some seriously complex engineering. Just think of your everyday washing machine on a spin cycle. Just like your washer spins super fast to push water out and dry your clothes, a nuclear centrifuge spins at supersonic speeds to separate different isotopes of uranium gas. But, unlike your trusty washer, a centrifuge relies on absolute, microscopic perfection. We are talking about incredibly fragile aluminum tubes here. Even a fractional change in pressure or the rotor speed at those insane velocities, it'll cause the whole machine to violently wobble, warp, and literally tear itself into pieces.
Part 3. Breaking the Physical World, the Ultimate Digital Heist.
Okay, this brilliantly illustrates the terrifying genius of this attack. Let's walk through it step by step. Step 1. Infiltration. Since the facility was totally offline, the code probably hitched a ride on an infected USB thumb drive dropped by some unsuspecting worker. Step 2. Observation. It doesn't just attack right away. No, it quietly sits in the background for weeks, profiling the controllers and learning exactly what normal operations look like. Then, Step 3. Sabotage. It covertly speeds up and slows down the motors, driving those delicate aluminum tubes dangerously out of control until they just shatter. But here is the real masterstroke. Step 4. Deception. While the machines were physically tearing themselves apart, the malware intercepted the warning systems and played back pre-recorded normal data. So the engineers looking at their screens, they saw completely normal readouts, while the physical plant around them was literally self-destructing. Absolutely wild.
0. That is the number of traditional bombs, missiles, or troops required to pull this off. Think about that for a second. Historically, if you wanted to achieve this level of deep sabotage against a fortified underground nuclear facility, you'd need a massive squadron of fighter jets, overwhelming kinetic force, and you'd face immediate explosive international fallout. You'd basically have to declare war. But Stuxnet? It achieved the exact same strategic objective silently, invisibly, and without a single boot on the ground.
Part 4. Geopolitics and cyber warfare, Pandora's box is open.
When Stuxnet was finally discovered in 2010, it marked a monumental turning point in human history. In the pre-2010 era, military might was measured almost entirely by physical forces, tanks, planes, kinetic payloads. But 2010 acts as this hard dividing line. From that exact moment forward, military strategy permanently shifted. The battlefield expanded way beyond purely physical domains into these invisible digital frontlines. We entered a whole new dimension of warfare where the weapons are literally just made of code.
The sheer success of this malware sent shockwaves through intelligence agencies all over the world. It proved a pretty terrifying new reality.
You just don't need a massive multi-billion-dollar military complex to paralyze a nation's infrastructure anymore. It completely leveled the playing field. A small, brilliant team of software engineers operating out of a basement could theoretically achieve the kind of strategic devastation that used to require an entire standing army. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate form of asymmetric warfare.
Part 5. Protecting Critical Infrastructure. The Urgent Lessons Learned. So, Stuxnet essentially opened Pandora's box, and it highlighted some deeply alarming vulnerabilities for everyday society. First off, you have the unintended consequences of digital weapons. Once this kind of code is out in the wild, it can be captured, reverse-engineered, and repurposed by anyone, from hostile nations to rogue actors. But the most crucial takeaway here is just how vulnerable our industrial control systems actually are. The exact same foundational technology that was running those targeted nuclear centrifuges, that's what regulates our municipal power grids. It automates our local factories. It manages our city water plants. Code is definitively the new global battlefield.
The impact of this really cannot be overstated. Military experts universally agree on this one key point. This attack changed military strategy forever. Because of this very first digital weapon, future global conflicts will inevitably be defined by cyber warfare. The barrier between the digital and the physical has been permanently shattered. So defending a nation is no longer just about guarding physical borders, it's about actively securing the invisible networks that keep our entire society functioning.
Which leaves us with this final critical thought to ponder. If highly isolated, strictly secured, air-gapped nuclear facilities can be completely destroyed by just a few lines of computer code, how secure is the critical infrastructure keeping your own city running right now? The power grid keeping your lights on, the automated water treatment facilities in your neighborhood? It's a profound vulnerability we are honestly only just beginning to grasp. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the systems around you.